Divorce and finances, the secrets that you need to know. I'm Claudia Brown Coulter, your go-to mediator for navigating divorce while parenting children with special needs. I'm also a registered legal document assistant, LDA, based in the greater Los Angeles. Let's talk about 5 secrets of divorce and financial disclosures that will really benefit you if you know these 5. Even if your divorce is amicable, financial disclosures are still required. That's secret number 1. Your disclosures are still required even if it's amicable. I have people who are like, but we know everything. We get along. It's fine. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. It's still required. We're not doing child support or spousal support. Do I have to do all 4 of these forms? Yes. But we know everything. Okay. What if I just filed this one form and we don't do those other forms? Go ahead, but not through me. That's fraud. I don't say that. I say, remember, you are signing that one form, the FL 141, under penalty of perjury that you actually did this stuff and you exchanged these documents. You get to choose what you want to do. But if you want to work with me, we're doing all the forms. Okay. So expect to do the forms. I like to tell people, get your stuff ready early. Bank statements come through the mail. Grab them. This is the part of the divorce that can be very overwhelming. So if you are strategic about it and begin to put statements and things aside as they come in the mail, it's going to be less overwhelming. That's like a little bonus secret for you. Secret number 2, if you have missing or inaccurate information, it can delay your divorce. Chances are, if you are not fighting about your children, you're fighting about money. And it doesn't really matter how your divorce fell apart. It could be that there was an affair and had nothing to do with kids or money. But chances are there was some financial indiscretions in the marriage, in incongruity between the two of you financially and how you manage finances. Many people say, oh, I know that they're hiding money, or they're hiding money, but how do I make sure that they actually expose that? You have to be honest. There's honest mistakes. That's okay. As soon as you realize it, amend your financial disclosures and fix that. But there's a lot of not so honest mistakes. If you think that's a situation, then what I need you to do is make sure you look through your tax returns. Make sure things line up. If your spouse gives you your financial disclosures and you look at the tax returns, because if you filed them jointly, your tax returns probably won't be attached. You got to call the IRS. Do not tell me. I do not have access to them because my spouse did everything. Your name and your social security number is on that tax return. Go get them. Go find them. You signed them. I didn't sign them. Your name is on them. Somebody signed them for you. That means you should have access to them. You can get them from the IRS and look through them and make sure that it's correct. Make sure stuff matches. I will say this. If you are deeply concerned that there is some serious financial infidelity and there is a hiding of assets or hiding of debts, you may need to get a forensic accountant involved. They are expensive. But they are worth their money. So you need to weigh that out. I do have people who are like, yeah, I want that. And they usually end up with an attorney and there's usually some discovery. I have other people who go, yeah, no, I know. I don't really care. I don't want this. I know what they're hiding. I don't want this. It makes me sick. I don't want any part of that. I just want to be done. You have to know where you fall in that. Number 3, people don't understand the difference between community and separate property. So community property is not like your whole neighborhood. Community property is you and your spouse. Community property are the things that you acquired or earned during your marriage, from the date of marriage to the date of separation. And separate property is anything that you acquired or accrued before marriage or after the date of separation, except gift and inheritance. And there's an exception there because it might not always be true. So if you received an inheritance and then you turned around and put it into a house that you and your spouse then jointly own, then you've commingled those funds. There's community funds and separate funds commingling. And so you have to have documentation to be like, this is the amount that I put in, and so that's my separate property, and this is community. Usually when people come to mediation, they already know that. I've had people in mediation who know that they've commingled their funds. They know they've commingled their inheritances, and they're all in one big account. But they also knew, this is how much went in, this is how much of yours went in, and let's take that out and let's cut the rest in half. They were mature about it. Note to yourself for a future marriage, don't commingle funds, and maybe consider getting a prenup. All right. Secret number 4 is debts matter just as much as assets. We're so focused on what I get. Like, what present do I get at Christmas? What am I going to get? We forget about the credit card bill that's coming in January for all the presents that were purchased. You cannot forget about the debts, because it's not just assets that are community property and that could be split 50-50. It's your debts too. Even if you didn't know about those debts, even if your spouse hid those debts, you could still be on the line for them. So if you don't know everything that's happening, pull your credit report so you can see what's on there and know, I didn't open this Capital One card. You need to know. The other thing is, these debts have to be assigned appropriately in the divorce. If your spouse isn't good with finances, I don't know if it's the best idea to have them pay off your credit card, because whose credit's going to get wrecked when they're like, I'll pay it next month. I had to keep my lights on. Or I took my new love interest to a fancy dinner. I couldn't pay the credit card bill. Yes, you can take them to court. Yes, they are in breach of contract. Yes, maybe they could be held in contempt of court for the divorce decree because they didn't do what they said that they were going to do. But that's a lot of time and effort and money, and your credit is suffering in the meantime. Maybe you take the debt, but they take other debt. Or maybe they're forced to refinance that debt into their name. That's my tip. Take it or leave it. Secret number 5. You can handle this part of the disclosure part without an attorney. You don't have to be super financially savvy to do this. I can help you fill out these forms and get them in the appropriate format to be submitted to court and be shared with your spouse. You need to get your bank statements, credit card statements, retirement account statements, anything related to your forms, pay stubs, get those so that they're ready to go. If you feel intimidated by your spouse that they really are hiding things, that should be an indicator for you. I might need an attorney. Let me go consult with some and find one that will help me. That's when you should do that if you haven't done that already. But if you feel like, okay, yeah, we can do this. We might be in disagreement about a few things, but we can figure this out and get a division of assets and debts that we can both be satisfied with, then you are going to be okay. So real quick to recap, you are required to do your financial disclosures. Do not intentionally leave things off of your disclosures. That is fraud. And that's just be a pain in the side of your neck for a long time, because it's not only going to prolong your divorce. If it turns out that you've made an agreement based on fraud and that's later discovered and there's assets at play, you might be losing them. So really think hard about what would happen if the fact that you didn't disclose got disclosed. Make sure the difference between community property and separate property, you most likely have both kinds of property. Debts are just as important, and you don't necessarily need a lawyer to get this portion of your divorce done. If you need help with this part of your divorce, I'm here to help. Go ahead and schedule a call. We can chat and see how I can help you. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. Have a great Tuesday.